deal. I think we had 2 taxes on the ballot. Huh? Yeah, we had 2 taxes.
Got 2 of them, yeah.
Yeah, 2 on the back. So somebody else in another area has something else. So there's a lot on the ballot for you to check out. So make sure you study it before you go, especially on the constitutional amendments. Secretary of State, that's 7, 8 people in that one, 9, whatever it is. And so it is a lot of stuff going on. All right. Without further ado, Representative Rick Edmonds joins us. He's on the ballot for Secretary of State. Rick, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, Moon. Thanks for having me. It's a little rainy, but other than that, it's a wonderful day.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, the rain is nothing we can do about that, but we had a hell of a storm, excuse my French, that come through last night. I know they had some tornadoes and stuff like that, so depending on what area you're in, it was kind of tough, some rain and stuff like that. But anyway, election going. Look, Rick, one thing I want to ask you about, because I've been beat up with this. And people looking at your advertisement, they're seeing to get you know it. But I know you've challenged Antoine on a few things on stuff that was said that he said. And I thought, well, did he say those things about Antoine? Say those things because people hit me with that, and I said, man, I don't know. Rick's running an ad. I guess he can prove that really happened. Did he say it, or was it tweeted, or did he say it, or what happened on that? Because I listened to
this is back in the 2016 when people were they weren't on the Trump train at that particular time. In fact, what they were doing was responding, and so Kyle, just like a lot of folks, they do a lot of tweets and retweets, and so at that particular time there were some really hard things said about the president that were real difficult, like he was an empty suit and an idiot, a dumpster fire. Well, he got involved in tweeting and retweeting, and he also, got on and said that he was not going to be not listen to Hannity anymore because it was the Trump love fest, and so it's all on his tweets. They are all. But he didn't.
But hold up, though. He didn't say it though. He tweeted, retweeted. I mean, that's why I was asking.
That's right. He would tweet and retweet and send them out to end up being out thousands of people. And so it's a little difficult to, say what a great supporter you are. And really and truly, it obviously was not his feelings at the time, or he wouldn't have been, I certainly hadn't been involved in any of those things. And I just think he's been caught in too many of these things talking about what a conservative he is. And the real issue is, and that's what this race is going to come down to. This is either you want a liberal, like, we said about what Julie's voting record is, or a Kyle, who basically is, when you look up, it gives money to Nancy Pelosi reelection. It's all record. This is all public record. It's hard to jump out of. You take, for example, the headlines on Pelosi Day. She thinks she's going to be speaker again, and she's going to get herself involved in, sexual identity kind of stuff. That's what we're talking about, Moon. And that's the reason I've been so strong about this. You can't just be a conservative one day and then be something the other day. I mean, you either are or you aren't. Yeah. And that's just the way it is. And that's what we face in the House all the time. It's the same story.
Yeah, I know y'all had to fight with Stokes, who ripped every conservative, anybody that stood up against Governor Bel Edwards because she became a floor leader for him. And those things
she's down there at the front, and she's sitting there saying when Sebah's down there at the end of one of our sessions, she says, it's on you, it's on you. And then when you bring this stuff back up, they all get mad at you. Yeah. But the truth is, that's just the truth. When you sit through these sessions or you're involved in these things, everybody's a conservative at election time. They all are. They all for every conservative principle you can name. But when it comes to really standing up, you can't give money to Nancy Pelosi and then pretend you're a conservative. I don't know what can I say? Nothing else I can say. Yeah. You can't support Karen Carter Peterson, who basically storms in the back of the House too. About a year ago, and basically provokes Dodie Horton up in the Bossier City area, calls her out and is dropping F-bombs. I'm sorry, you say watch the French. This is what we've had to live through with these pretenders, that they act like they're conservatives, and when it comes down to the real voice, they really are not. Yeah. And I'm just saying it like it is. That's just the way it is.
Well, I know, but when I was just concerned because I don't have a clue who's in a runoff in this election. I don't know if you do, but I don't. Mm-hmm. I've watched it. I've tried to stay out of it for the most part. Sure. When I've had Kyle on, I've asked him very tough questions along the lines of the voting machines and all the stuff that was going on. That's why I was asking, because people have hit me with it. And I said, well, you know what? I got Rick on. I'll ask him a question. He's not scared to answer. Because I know. No, I noticed. I'm not. I'm just asking the question. I know because Trump gave money to Democrats and all that. We get into all that stuff all the time, and I don't know if it's going to help, hurt, or what. That's why I was curious about it. Besides, like I said, people, if I asked all the questions to all the people I get comments on, it would be a fight with every candidate. I'm not planning on doing that.
I mean, you mentioned the voting machines. I mean, when you look at what we do on appropriations and how we've tried to hold the line, or you look up at what the Edwards administration wants you to do. Well, you look at the voting machines. Well, instead of a $50 million bid, you're at a $95 million bid. Well, guess what? If you're a fiscal conservative, you don't run the tab up and double the money. That's another one of those things.
It's but Rick, on that particular one, the people that got the bid actually had the low bid. The big thing that concerned me about that was at the end how it was taken away, because Bell Edwards' buddies were the second bidder. The people that lobbied for that company also gave money to Bell Edwards. And when it ended up dying like that, I just think that and the part you're talking about is different than what I'm talking about, so let's be clear. But when he ended it, I thought, this is politics, and I thought they were playing politics to help Julie Stokes, who I hope doesn't have a chance at all in this thing.
Right. Well, I'm just telling you that before any of the Edwards information came out, I can give you the exact date, which was August the 28th. I called Ordwin out on this matter. Now he said it's all baloney and it's all politics, and guys like me made it all up, and we're stirred up the pot. Well, listen, when that didn't play for him and that didn't work, well, then he jumped on, it's Edwards is the one that's doing that. Edwards wasn't doing that. I'm the first one. I went to the Office of Procurement myself, and I went through the process with the Office of Procurement. And if he's got a problem with that, well, I promise you that he's got a problem with good government, because I went to find out exactly why in the world are we doubling down and spending this much money, or attempting to spend this much money. You bring that back to House Appropriations, I promise you conservative Republicans will be looking to this like going, Kyle, what do you think you're doing? I mean, we're not doing this. So that's what we're dealing with. And it's the same thing, Moon. It's where and I was listening to your program yesterday. It's exactly where we're selling, ourselves out down the river with Medicaid expansion. We're going to put ourselves in the same spending kind of trough that we consistently do, where we act like we can't do any better than this, and then we throw billions of dollars at a thing thinking we're going to fix a problem, and we cannot keep running our government agencies like the way we're projecting to run them. Yeah. We just can't do it. We can't afford it.
What if you are fortunate enough to be in the not just the runoff but to win it, give me 2 or 3 things that you think you would change or do that will make the office better than it is now. What are some things that hey, Moon, this is what I'm doing when I get in? Go ahead, tell people what you would do.
Here's exactly what you have to do that basically your bureaucracy, they will not do. First thing you have to do is you have from top down, you've got to evaluate everything and streamline the entire agency. Now that's not popular, but that's just good administration. And that's what you do. And in order to do that, it's going to bring the number one priority to the list, and it is the creation of a cyber crime division in the Secretary of State's office. And I'm not talking about just a person that you can name at the last minute like what he's done here in the past couple of weeks. I'm talking about if we don't get serious about identifying this cyber crime and in being able to build a department that statewide begins to look at all this and stays on top of it day in and day out, I promise you we'll be so far behind, we'll be so threatened that in all the states every Secretary of State that's serious about this, they're going to do this. They're going to do exactly what I'm recommending. They're going to have to streamline, find the dollars, and build themselves a cyber crime division. And that is the priority for the next generation of elections in the state of Louisiana, period.
Yeah, so that's the main thing you're going to do for us if you get in office.
I think that is number one. Number two is to expand the business department. When we look at the corporate, area of how we, put our, records together and help businesses do all the paperwork, I just don't think, and I've gone around the state saying this, I just don't think that's enough. Somebody needs to be the face of new business. I'm telling you, and I know that you talk to more people than I do, but our mayors and our leaders in all of our areas, man, Acadiana's been suffering, Shreveport's suffering. We've got people that are moving left to right. We got doctors and everything else that are moving out of the state of Louisiana. Somebody's going to have to take control and cast new vision for the state of Louisiana in order for us to keep some people starting their brand new businesses in Louisiana. And it's not just about paperwork. That we're going to have to encourage, help them. We're going to have to put on seminars. We're going to have to work with college professors, community people like down at McNeese where they launched the Waiter app. They incubated those programs and had great success. We've got to attract new megacorps to come back to Louisiana. We're going to have to be the fighter in the Secretary of State's office to get some of these regulations and stuff off the backs. We got to work with our legislature to get this stuff fixed. Get ourselves another governor in here and get some of these regulations back in check and lower some of this tax issues that they have so we can get some business going back in South Louisiana.
Yeah, we if we don't get a new governor, I think this governor set us back 10 years at least.
Well,
and I'm telling you, it's got to change.
You know exactly what we're fighting every day.
Yep.
And I get phone calls from people all over South Louisiana. I'm a representative in Baton Rouge, and I get phone calls and emails pleading with me to try to help. Try to eliminate, please move back in the legislature and keep fighting. I mean, please fight for these things. You know, we can't raise our taxes anymore on all of our businesses. They're leaving us now. I mean, we've got to stop this. And again, I know back to yesterday's program, Medicaid expansion. I mean, we're going to have to redo. The thing is just going to spin us dry. It's already doing that. You know it is.
I know it is, but you can't tell that to the left. All right, Rick, anything you want to add real quick?
Well, I just appreciate all the great folks in Louisiana. Our support is statewide. We've been endorsed by more people. This afternoon, I'll have the privilege to be endorsed in Baton Rouge by these Baton Rouge Republicans. None of the other candidates have been endorsed like I have. I have the most endorsements of all the candidates combined, and I hope and pray that that tells us something, that real conservatives, they know who the real conservative in this race is.
Rick Edmonds, Representative Edmonds, good luck to you.
Thanks, man.
All right, Rick. Appreciate it, man. All right, we got to take a quick break. More to come right after this. Oh, yeah. How y'all? Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 5 days to Election Day. Pumped and ready for it to be over. Two things I'm ready for it to be over. Alabama, LSU in the election, because that's all you pick up and read, man. You read, that's all you read. And so if the Tigers could beat them, that ends that soap opera. That's over. And then whatever happens on election happens on election, Brandon. So that's, I mean, I'm just telling you, I'm ready for both to be over because of the overhype. It's still just a football game when you look at it. And as far as elections, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm ready for both of them to be over. It's just emotional high and low and all that stuff. And if the Tigers beat them, that'd be awesome. You know, can they beat them? Absolutely. Will they? We're going to find out Saturday when the game's over. By the way, speaking of good news, something that's might make you anxious, but it doesn't have to. My good friends at J&J Exterminator, you need to give them a call. Louisiana's largest independently owned pest control company. Now, look, you've heard me brag about J&J. If you met Bobby John and you can walk away and you're not impressed, then you got the problem. That's the type man this guy is. He is just a dedicated guy to making sure he services you. He's got great people working for him. If you got a problem, they'll take care of you. If you got a problem with them, they'll come back, they'll sit down with you, and they'll make it right. J&J Exterminator, termite control services, pest control services, bed bug treatments, all that. They do it all. Look, I'm going to tell you what, I get a termite. Brian, I don't know if you're doing that, but I'm getting a termite inspection every year. Look, I'm spending, I don't even know what I'm spending. My bride pays for it. But whatever I'm spending is worth it because every year they come, I've been cleaning. And so but if they come one year and say, hey, there may be a little bit of problem, we knock it out then. It's worth doing it, and that's what Bobby John does. And by the way, Brandon, because you went through this too, because you use them too, free inspections. Come out there and see what you need to do. You can't hardly beat that.
The cool thing, too, is that whenever you recommend to someone J&J Exterminating, and that person goes in and says, hey, I want to sign up for the termite inspection service, and they end up signing something, then you get money off as well on your bill, and it's a really cool thing.
How come they ain't giving me money off? I got to talk to Bobby John. I must be just for the real people. No, great company, great people to work with. And Brandon used them because we talked about it. And Brandon walks in here and goes, dude, He's the best people in the world to work
Yeah,
with. They're on
great.
time. They talk to you. They communicate with you. So, and you had the experience on your own.
Yep, absolutely. And they took care of me.
And then they doubled his price because he knew me.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Yeah. All right, George in Shreveport. How you doing, George? Welcome to the Moon Griffon Show.
Fine, Boone. I'm calling about some of the comments Rick Edmonds said.
All right.
I go to church, Shreveport, Calvary Baptist Church.
I'm familiar with it.
He's pastor up here.
Uh-huh.
And he was pastor for a few years. When we got our gas money on leasing our land, the church got a little over $13.5 million. 4 years ago, or 3.5 years ago, he was asked to leave because the church was then in debt $2 million.
Ooh.
He can't explain where the money went, but there was an awful lot of trips and an awful lot of things that were spent that didn't add up. So I'm just cautioning people. You need to be.
I know, George, but you know, all that kind of stuff. I know it weighs with people that maybe know about it, but unless somebody's been proven guilty or something, I mean, I look, like I said, I know that's the story, and I'm not arguing with you, but I'm just telling you that those are the type things that, man, I don't even know what to say about, you know, because I'm not there, I'm not doing it. I say if somebody's guilty of doing something, then you take them to court, and then they have to be proven guilty. So I just be a little careful with that. But I understand. Listen,
I understand what you're saying, and he wasn't taken to court because we're a church, and we didn't believe in that. Our simple solution was to get rid of him, and we did.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate the call. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. Like I said, I can't go on all that, folks. I the first time I ever heard of it. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just never heard of it. All right. But this, you know, the elections are here. It's one, I don't know about you guys, but, you know, I read polls and all that stuff too. And the last time I read polls in the last big election we had, they were so wrong it wasn't even funny. Oh, they're wrong again. You talk to some people that believe they're wrong. Some people believe they'll be right. You know, we don't know, folks. Nobody knows. And the reason you don't is for what I told you. It's 50 different states, 50 different areas, 50 different issues. I mean, it's just, we don't know. We don't know. It's just like that guy just called about that. To him, that was a big issue because he knew something somebody else didn't know. That's what I mean. We don't know in other elections what's going on. And that's why we got to be patient and wait. Everybody has one job by Tuesday is to go vote. And then let whatever happens, folks. I can't vote in Pennsylvania and Ohio and all these states. I'd be just as conservative up there as I am here. So you got to do your job. You have to go vote. You have to go get people to go vote. Get your family members to go vote because it does matter. There's been elections where people have won by one vote. And it really has. Now, Secretary of State's race has a bunch of good candidates. Somebody asked me the other day, said, man, you know, Julie Stokes, and I get a lot of people saying, I'd vote for you. You don't need to. I didn't want to get involved. I didn't want to get involved in who to tell you to vote for, and I'm not going to yet. Because I do think there's some quality candidates in this race. Somebody asked me today, what was your beef with Stokes? And I told them, and when I told them, they said, I'm not voting for her either. I mean, she is 100% John Bel Edwards. She lies in her ad saying she's a lifetime Republican. She was a Democrat for 10 years. That's a fact. She's a Democrat for 10 years. You know? And she was a floor leader for Bel Edwards. She caucused with Edwards and them and Jay Darden and them all the time. She voted for billions of dollars worth of taxes. She skipped some votes, knowing that if she voted for them, it'd make it look worse. She chastised conservatives and Republicans left and right. I could just tell you this ought to be the press loves her. Picayune, Jim Beam. Matter of fact, I want to remind people, every time they did an article coming in the session and coming out of it, and Brandon, you can vouch for this, Jeremy Alford, my friend Jeremy Alford, Jim Beam, that newspaper Hillman, they always just say, front runner for the Secretary of State, Julie Stokes, front runner. And they wanted that image in people's mind. That's what the press does. They wanted to create this image. She was the front runner. People weren't going to vote for her. And so I said, no, she's not a front runner. There was never a front runner in this race. We didn't even know who was entering this race till they qualified, and Antoine, who's the Secretary of State, jumps in the race, which kind of threw the whole race into a different area. It did. I'm just being blunt with you. Like him or not, vote for him or not, It changed the race. Okay, I'll tell you somebody else who I think changed the race. And you don't hear a lot about her. And Julie, not Nancy Pelosi, Stokes. I thought Heather Cloud changed the race. She changed the race because we had another woman, and everybody knows Julie Stokes had breast cancer. And let me say it for the 1,000th time. I'm glad she beat it. She ought to not thank herself. She ought to thank God for beating it. And I hope she lives to be an old lady. I really do. I mean that sincerely. But it doesn't qualify you for Secretary of State. Jim Beam took a shot at me because I said that. Well, it doesn't. No longer than me being a talk show host. If I was running, well, I've been a talk show host and a conservative for 25 years. It don't qualify for me to win something. And let me tell you something else what doesn't qualify you, Secretary of State, Brandon. You're going to be shocked. Being a CPA. It doesn't qualify for you to be the best candidate. And I watched this, and I watched the press try to drive her down our throat. And I'm thinking she was endorsed by the Times-Picayune. I'm not voting for her. A chance of me voting for her then, well, it was zero for me anyway. But if I'm out there, you got to look at that. And who's supporting her? And Edwards and them and trial lawyers and all this stuff. You know? Her record is horrible. I don't care what she calls herself, a conservative. Conservative doing what? Beating up Republicans? Beating them up? Not sticking with them? Then goes to the Republican deal and cries because she voted for all these taxes. Now she feels bad she voted for them. Trying to get the sympathy vote. Well, Heather Cloud comes in, she beat cancer too. But she don't tell you that, does she? And guess what? She beat election fraud. She's the real deal when it comes to if you... Oh, listen to me. How y'all all? Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. Oh, by the way, and I know I talked about Stokes. Did I mention she's a CPA? I want to make sure
Once or twice.
Okay. I want to make sure we mention she's a CPA. It's crazy. By the way, it reared its ugly head again. As you know, Lane Grigsby, and I don't want to get on Grigsby again. Not trying to do that, but he made his crazy comments about John Kennedy. Since then, Gumbo Pack, which I call the Dumbo Pack, that supports Edwards and other trial lawyers raising money and raising hell, they came out and did something on their Facebook. Number two, Gannett newspaper, Greg Hilburn, which gets it twice, like a stop clock, right, twice a day, he brought it up in an article. And then probably the worst one I've ever read, Stephanie Grace, most disingenuous person I've ever seen write an article. She brings it up. Headlines, GOP already lining up to support oppose John Kennedy for governor. And she brought up the same thing Lane Grigsby said. And it's a shame because Grigsby, he has a candidate he supports, and I can't wait to meet him, Eddie Risponi. Mr. Eddie Risponi. I don't know him. Never met him. Hadn't heard from him. But when we hear from him, we want to interview him. We want to talk to him. I'm excited somebody's in the race. John's not even in the race. Who knows if Kennedy will run in the race? But for Grigsby and them to step out and do what they did, or what he did, is ludicrous. Now, I tripped on him the other day. I'm not going to trip on him again. I like him. I don't know him greatly, but I know his person. But just, it's crazy. You don't do that. You don't do what he did. Because nobody knows what's going to happen in the governor's race, except I know John Bel Edwards is going to be beat. The co-governorship with him and Jay Dart didn't wreck, and I still believe in all my heart the man's going to be beat. And I think he'll get beat by a decent number. But we don't know. We don't know yet who's running in the governor's race. Why make negative remarks about Kennedy? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever to do what Grigsby did. None. You know, a lot of people think Kennedy's running. I'm one of them. I think he's running, but I don't know that. I know there's another scenario. I'll throw it out there, and you may have heard this before because I've talked about it before. You could have, if for some reason Republicans get beat in the House, you got a guy like Steve Scalise sitting there who was shot by a Bernie Sanders supporter and almost killed Now, I'm sure his bride, he's got young children still. I'm sure his bride and them are going, Washington has gotten crazy. And you're not going to see Kennedy run and Scalise run and Jeff. You're not saying this is not happening. But somebody's going to step up. Now, I read the other day, Jeff said, I'm out. Kennedy says he's going to make a decision. If John ain't running, I pray to God he's not going to do a press conference to announce he's not running because I'm going to laugh at him. I'm sorry, Brandon.
At this point,
John Bro invented that.
I know, but at this point he might, though.
All he's got to do is tweet, not running for office.
Yeah.
He does not have to call a press conference and answer questions. I'm not running. Okay? He can do that. But let me ask you a question. Let's say, for whatever reason, Republicans lose and Scalise says, I want to run for governor. And Scalise announces he's running. John never has to announce he's running for governor. He never has to announce. They can bother him. He said, I don't have no plans to run for governor. They can, Brandon. Remember, the hype of him running has come not from me, not from you, not from the average person. It's the press, the people in the media, speculating who's going to run. Every time they write an article in the Baton Rouge Advocate and Tom Picayune, they're negative to John Kennedy. Why? Because they think he's going to run. But John never said, not to me, not to many people, that he was running. So my point being is, you think he needs to announce that he's not running? I don't.
So had it not been for the announcement he made last week where he said he would make an announcement by December the 1st, I would agree. But because of that, what he put out there that he would make an announcement by December the 1st or make a decision whether he would run or not, I think there are so many people that are waiting to hear from him on it.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
I think maybe he doesn't have to have a press conference. I'm not saying that.
Thank you, right there.
But he's going to have to put it out. He's going to have to put out a press release or something that says, hey, I've decided not to run for governor.
To me, that's not important. He's either running or he's not. And we only want to know if he's running. You do not have to know somebody's not running for an office. I'm not running. Do you? Are you not making an announcement that you're not running?
Yeah, but I'm not important like John Kennedy.
Well, you're important to me.
Nobody wants me to run for governor. There's a lot of people that want John Kennedy to run for governor. So for me, as a potential voter, I want to know whether he's in or not.
Why?
Because he's an important person.
If he runs, you're going to know. If he never announces he's running, he's not in.
But that just leaves uncertainty, though, Moon. That leaves uncertainty. You got to come out.
Let me tell you why it doesn't. It doesn't, because if you see somebody like Steve Scalise announce that he's running, Kennedy's out. Now, Kennedy's not out because he's worried about Scalise. I just don't think neither one of them are going to run. But Moon, they're both not running for office.
Yeah, but Moon, you know that because you're more politically in tune than a lot of people that are, don't do this for a living. You know that. There's a lot of people that have regular jobs that they don't know, some of the inside stuff. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
All I'm saying is that, John did. You're right. John did make the thing of saying, I will announce. But if he's not running, you don't make it a big deal. A simple press release, hereby tonight, I'm not running for governor. Thanks for all the people that were wanting me to run, but I'm not running. That's it. You do not go to a press conference. Well, what made up your mind, Kennedy? Look, I think he's running is why he said that. But so. I'm telling you, there's always a twist in this. And I'm telling you that there are a lot of people in Washington. You know yourself, Brandon. They love him up there. There's a lot of Republicans in Washington that would like John to stay. And I'll go back to what I said. This is a national election next year. With reapportionment, redistricting, all that coming up, you don't want a liberal leftist Democrat who voted for Obama, who voted for Hillary Clinton, who helped raise money for the Democrats. You don't want that person sitting as the governor. And this is a $30 million election. The PACs are going to roll in here, and Kennedy, like everybody else, will rely on a lot of money outside the state. So I think, and I'll say it again, if I was a betting man, I'd bet that he runs. Not a betting man, but but I just know those elections, all this stuff's being done after the election.
Quote from John Kennedy, I'll be making an announcement by December 1st about my future plans. When you say you're going to do it, you got to do it.
Yeah, Brandon, but that means he's running.
Okay. Well, hey, I don't disagree with you on that.
If he was not running, he should have never said that.
Right. I don't disagree with you on that.
Okay.
But like you said, circumstances change.
Circumstances change, and we don't know. And I'm just saying Kennedy and Scalise are friends enough that, and even I throw Jeff Landry in that. These guys know that if they're running that together and they beat each other up, you put the leftists back in. You put the co-governorship back in. The two governors hadn't worked.
So you think chances are good that we'll get one or the other?
I think we're going to get one or the other. And I think if Kennedy announces he's running, then Kennedy's going to be the guy. Now, when I say that, let me bring Eddie Rispone back in. Eddie's running. Eddie says he's running. Mm-hmm. I hope he runs. Okay? I don't care if they have multiple Republicans. Here's the problem. If you're not going to focus on the problem, which is Bell Edwards raising $7 billion worth of taxes, expanding Medicaid that we cannot afford, okay, keeping everything the same as we raise the money, the lies about the $2 billion budget. If you're not going to focus on that they cut $600 million out the budget, which is an outright lie, then, Brandon, we don't need none of the Republicans to run. I'm telling you right now, you can't have Republicans beating each other up. Now, another thing is, if you see Gilliam win in Florida and the lady in Texas, Democrat, do well, you could easily see somebody like Kip Holden gets in and Edwards is toast. Don't think that's not possible, folks. All right, what you got? What you laughing at?
By the way, Al from Shreveport says next time he brings you some pickles, some of those special pickles, they got to make sure they get to me.
I brought you pickles. I told you about the hot pickles. You didn't eat them.
No. You didn't bring them to me now. You sure about that?
You told me you didn't eat pickles like that. They were hot and spicy.
I got them. Oh, no, I want some.
Well, I'll bring you some tomorrow.
I got a whole jar of pickles at the house.
I think that's the one.
I
think that's the one I gave him, Al. Don't believe him, Al. Don't believe him. I brought him some pickles. Anyway, we got to go. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. If you would like to be part of the program, it's your opportunity to be a voice as we rock and roll. It is, of course, Friday Eve, and, election's right around the corner. And, I ought to take people to give me predictions on what they think's going to happen to see who got the closest. I just wonder who would be close. I mean, really, Brandon, I could tell you something on a prediction on what's happening around the country, and I may not even be close. I think what you're hearing from people is wishful thinking.
What they want to happen.
Well, that's what I meant, but there's nothing wrong with that. You got a lot of hope. You're hoping this will win. I mean, I told you, besides that, LSU, Alabama, all this hope and hope and hope and hope. But the bottom line is what you hope happens. And Brandon, if you ask enough people, somebody will probably get it right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if you ask enough people, somebody will get it right. But I just don't think that with 50 different states done 50 different ways and issues are different in the election in Florida than they are in Louisiana, that most people are going to get it right. I just don't see it. I don't see how you get it right. All right. By the way, we do want to mention we are doing a Cane River Pecan giveaway. Folks, you hear me brag about Cane River Pecans. If you're a company, CaneRiverPecan.com, you need to go to it and check out the great gifts that you can give as a company. This is what I do for my customers. I give the gift of pecans. They can customize your logo. They've had a lot of people from the program call Cane River Pecans and say, look, I got 500, 600, 1,000, 240, 30, whatever your number is, and I want to give a great gift this year for my customers. Cane River Pecans, they are not a better gift than you can give to people. They'll love them. They'll love the little tin they get with your logo on it. It's just no doubt about it. Cane River Pecans is an excellent gift. And by the way, if you would like to win some Cane River Pecans, we're going to give away another one today. Email me, moon@moongriffon.com. I want to win Cane River Pecans. Now, this is the deal. I need your address. Because when I pick a winner, I pick one, I forward the address to Cane River Pecan, and so they'll know where to ship it. And I need a hard address. I don't need I need a physical address, I guess is what I'm saying. So if you want to enter, just email me, moon@moongriffon.com, moon@moongriffon.com. And make sure that you tell me you want to win them, and I'll put you in the thing, and we'll draw in just a little while before the program ends. But I'm telling you, if you want a great gift, Cane River Pecans, it'll make it. You want to say something? Okay, you had that little beep eating grin on your face.
Well, there's stuff going on in the lobby, so I was looking to see what was going on.
You making sure nobody shoots through the window, is that it?
Something like that.
Hey, Brandon, makes you nervous, I know, every time we talk. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. It is an election. You got to go vote. Early voting is over, at least for Louisiana. This Tuesday is the actual election day where you get a chance to go vote. I'm really getting a kick out of the border and the caravan and the birthright stuff that we're hearing from Donald Trump, President Trump. And I've said this for a long time, and I'll say it again. We should never have birthrights for just anybody from a foreign country to come in automatically and be a citizen and give them everything they want. That should never be like that. That should never happen. Trump is right. All these other people have talked about this. Every single one of them has talked about this. And yet, think about that. You can come here illegally, have a baby, and that baby's a citizen. That's a big difference than what the 14th Amendment meant to be dealing with blacks. This is a big difference. Nobody said you can be from some country. You sneak in here illegally, go to the hospital, have a baby, and you get all the benefits. And you got to understand something. I think people don't realize this. The poor people in this country are filthy rich compared to people in these other foreign countries. Filthy rich with what we give them. They get every benefit known to mankind. They go to school for free. They get their food for free. They can get subsidized housing, if not housing, for free. Health care for free. Public schools for free. I mean, that is a great deal for somebody coming from one of these hellholes. And they are hellholes because they're not free. They're not free to be the best they can be, and government, big government, controls their lives. We got people voting for Democrats, which blows my mind, which want to control everybody's lives just like they do in these other countries. Promising people freebies, promising to be Santa Claus. Why wouldn't somebody from another country not want to come here? Let me tell you something. They can walk in a grocery store here that's clean. They can get all the groceries they want, and me and you are paying for it. They can have their baby born in a clean hospital and get all the benefits. And I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you come from. We have an obligation to protect our borders, and we lose our country. Why does anybody want to lose the country? What country would you like to be like? This is what I don't understand about the left. If you want to be like Mexico, go move to Mexico. Like I kind of threw that out there. If you want to live like the people in Venezuela, hell, move there. If you want health care like they have in Cuba, and according to Democrats, great health care, move to Cuba. Why run this country? I want to go out and work for my health care. I want to go out and pay for my own. Somebody somebody that would give up freedom for security deserves neither and probably will lose both. I want freedom. That means free to go be the best I can be. Who in the heck I want security? I want to know I got a meal coming. I want to know I got health care. They're willing to give it to some bureaucrat to say, well, go for me. I'm going to give you your health care. I'm going to give you your food. I'm going to give you your education. I'm going to give you. And I'm going to control your butt, too. Who wants a mentality like that? But they got a lot of them in this country that have mentalities like that, and they usually vote Democrat. And Democrats are glad to take your vote. They're glad to take your vote. They're glad to go take your vote and give you everything you need to live on so you'll be, what? Indebted to them. Indebted to them. And that's what this election is about. We're going to vote to imprison yourself or to be free. They got people that will look and say, okay, if you go over here to the right, I'm going to have to go to work. I'm going to have to earn everything I got. But I'm free. I'm going to be the best I can be. And you got people looking at the thing, so you can go left and imprison yourself. Go in prison where they're going to give you 3 meals a day and your health care. Okay? They're going to give you everything you need, but you lose your freedom. I'm telling you, in this country, you would have a percentage of people, and it's a good-sized percentage, that would take the jail side of not being free just so somebody was going to give them a free meal. Man, this country's great to go be the best you can be, but when you're making excuses, and that's what the Democrats do, they're excuse making. Well, if you're black, you don't have a chance. If you're a woman, you don't have a chance. If you're old, you don't have a chance. If you're young, you don't have a chance. Come on our little prison system, and we'll give you everything. You got people would pick prison. I'm telling you they would pick prison. Remember the old Soviet Union when it broke up? They were on a communist regime, still may be in for. They were so upset when they tried to do some free market stuff. Brandon, they didn't know how to act. They didn't know how to live. They had people shouting back and bring back the old Soviet Union. I had to work my butt off because they made me, but at least I could eat. So they were picking prison over freedom. And that's what this whole election's about. And you got people picking. I got a jail I can go into where I got my 3 square meals, and I got my health care, and I got a roof over my head, and I got clothes on my back, but they own me. Or you can go over here to be the best you can be, and thank God our founders did what they did. Thank God they said, you know what, there's a better place than this place where the government's going to control your life, and here we are, greatest country in the world, and we don't have any dang sense. We might vote the leftists, and this ain't the Democrat Party of old. This is the socialist Marxist party now, the party of hate, where they don't even think one day you're not even going to have to, you're not going to be innocent to proving guilty. You're guilty to proving innocent. And that's what happens in a prison. They make the rules too. And people don't see that. And that's the thing that frustrates me. I watched this Gilliam guy in Florida, and he's hollering racism. I don't care if that was my daddy. If he believed in the things he believed in, I'd vote against my daddy in a second. God bless him. He's not with us anymore, but I would. He's telling people, look, come in my prison and vote for me and support me, and I'm going to own your butt. Don't go for this freedom-loving stuff. You can't make it. We got people like Gilliam telling blacks and Jesse Jackson, you can't make it without us. Yeah, you can. And you can make it a lot better than what they have to offer. People that would rather have security over freedom deserve neither. Why in the heck do we want to become a country like that? Let's go. Quick call. Well, do I have enough time? Yeah, Joe Cunningham joins us. Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Moon. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, man. All right. Tell me what's going on, man.
Well, I want to start off by saying if I lived in Mexico or Venezuela, I would want to move to a place where my Secretary of State, the person in charge of my elections, is actually a CPA.
Yeah, because if they're not a CPA, they're disqualified.
Yeah, I met the CPA possible Secretary of State over the weekend.
You talking about Julie Stokes? You got to be talking about Julie because she's the only one bragging about CPA.
I am. I met Julie Stokes this weekend, and Moon, you've been in this business a long time. When a politician first meets you, whether or not you agree or disagree with them, they always, try to lay out the friendly hand, shake your hand, try to make that good first impression, right?
Yeah.
This weekend, I met Julie Stokes and was being introduced by a good friend of mine, and said, you probably read Joe, he writes for the Hayride, he writes for Scott McKay, and her first reaction to that was almost like a sneer, like, well, I won't hold that against you. That's what she actually said, I won't hold that against you, and then she followed that up with, and by the way, and you can tell him this, I want to know who funds him. Like that was her sales pitch to me, Moon, and I'm frankly inspired.
I bet you're inspired to vote against her.
I would gladly sit down and have a drink with any politician and talk about politics, whether I agreed with them or not.
Uh-huh.
I'm not so sure I could do that in this case. That is a terrible, terrible first impression. Yeah,
Hey, Joe, hold on a second. Joe, hold on a second. I got to take a break, and I'll come back and wrap up with you. Joe Cunningham, right out of Red State, also writes with the Hayride. We'll take a break, be right back. Telling us about his first experience with Julie Stokes. I wonder what she's mad at. By the way, Joe, I'm going to ask the question. I hope my name didn't come up because I know she likes me. Anyway, we'll take a break, be right back. Y'all are welcome. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. Brandon, twice the number of people voted early than the presidential election in early voting. 24 million plus.
Wow.
Only 12 million or so voted early for the presidential. GOP showing strength in early voting. We'll see. I don't. All that stuff is
because early voting numbers normally favor the Democrats. But normally. I'm telling you, Republicans are fired up right now. The more the Democrats like Nancy Pelosi go out there and say, we've got this, we've got
Brandon,
this.
Can we tune in real quick?
Yeah.
Fox News.
Presidential election. So we're way ahead of where we were in the last midterm and closing in on the number in the presidential election. Now, at the end of 2016, the presidential election, 57.2 million people had voted early or absentee. I don't know if we won't get all the way there, but we are going to be at least in the high 40 millions.
That's pretty impressive. Okay, board number 2, show it.
Well, there are some states in which there's partisan registration and some states in which there are not. So the ones that have partisan registration, we can check the number of ballots that have been cast by Republicans and Democrats and declined to state and compare them to the past. And if you look at these in Arizona, they're between the Democrats doing worse and the Republicans doing better. There's a 5.4 point swing towards the Republicans in early voting. And this is a state that they carried in the presidential race by 3 points. Nevada, it's a 3-point swing towards the Republicans between the Democrats doing less than they did before and the Republicans doing more. And this is a state the Democrats won by 2.5 points. And then in Florida, which the Republicans won in the presidential election by 1.2 points, between the Democrats doing worse and the Republicans doing better, it's a 3-point swing among the partisans towards the Republicans. Now, this is no guarantee of victory, but in all of these, in every one of the key battleground states with the exception of Nevada, there are more Republican early votes than Democrat early votes.
Okay, so
and in Nevada, the Republicans are doing better than they did.
Maybe that suggests something for Tuesday. Ultimately, we shall see. But early voting numbers are up. Could you not make the argument that they're making early voting easier every cycle around?
Absolutely.
So it would only make sense that more people are voting now?
Well, they don't necessarily make it easier, but you're right. People do get in the habit of it. And look, as I put in my column this morning, look, trends may change. The Republicans may be getting people who would otherwise vote on Election Day to vote early, so they're trading a vote on Election Day for today. Independents may be breaking against the Republicans, the decline to state in independence. Some soft Republicans in some states may be casting a protest vote. But all in all, it's a good sign for the Republicans that in every battleground Senate state, there are more Republicans voting than Democrats, except for Nevada. And in Nevada, even there's good news in that the Republicans are doing better than they did before.
The numbers in the rural section of Nevada are extraordinary. They're way
unbelievable.
Up. You're right, about 70%.
Elko, Winnemucca, Battle Mountain, Austin, Ely, you name it. They're coming out.
Hang on. I have 3 specific questions for you, okay? Number 1 comes from your piece today in the Wall Street Journal. On screen, here we go. Victory depends on the energy and effectiveness each party brings to its get-out-the-vote effort. But getting the true believers out to vote, as important as that is, will not be enough. To win, each party needs to win over a critical mass of those Americans who can still be persuaded. You're making a case for like the 5 to 7% in the middle there. The president's making a case that this is a base election. Now, which is it? Is it A or is it B or a little bit of both?
Well, it's a little bit of both, but more A than B. Both sides' bases are vibrating at a fever pitch. What matters is those group of people who are not only undecided, but are weakly linked to their choice and capable of changing their minds. And granted, it's a relatively small percentage of the electorate. Some states, the undecideds are 5%. My suspicion is that there's probably another 5 or 6 or 7 or 8% that are weakly linked. But in a series of contests that are going to be so close as this one is, then that matters a lot. Think about this. In 2006, the 16 closest House races that settled that switched control from the Republicans to the Democrats in the House, 3 million votes were cast, and 115,000 votes cumulative were the difference between the winning Democrat and the losing Republican. That's less than 3% in each one of those districts tight. On average, and about 7,000 votes.
Okay, 2 more. I need quick answers there. The president just said the blue wave is dead. Do you see signs of a blue wave or not?
It depends on the definition of the wave. Are the Democrats going to do better than they have done in past elections? Yes. It happens in every midterm except 3 times since the Civil War that the party out of power picks up seats in the House in the midterm election. But there's no tsunami, in my opinion, like we were being forecast months ago.
Last question. We came out with 5 Senate races yesterday. In Missouri and Arizona, the lead among women for Democrats, Republicans has shrunk considerably. In Arizona, Kirsten Sinema went from plus 15 to plus 7. In Missouri, Claire McCaskill went from plus 9 to plus 3. What would explain that?
Republican women coming home. Partisans tend to return to their corners as the election approaches, and particularly after Kavanaugh. I think in both of those states we tended to see conservatives and Republicans come home, accelerated in both instances by local issues, Claire McCaskill's record and some sort of funny stuff going on, and then Kyrsten Sinema's weird statements like, I don't really care if you want to go and join the Taliban, doesn't matter to me. Those kind of things are coming home to roost. But basically, partisans go into their corners.
Thank you, sir.
Explains most of that Missouri and Arizona.
Job well done.
All right, I'll let you get that. I just did what I hate doing.
Exactly.
I did. I just wanted to see what he had to say.
And did you learn anything from that?
Me?
Yes.
Me personally, no. Somebody else may have.
Yeah.
Because if you put somebody else on there, they'll tell you something different. And that's why watching that now late, I've drifted into watching it. And for the last 3 nights, I've drifted away. So I will now, Brandon, drift away through the weekend, going to the LSU Notre Dame. Going to LSU Alabama, that probably stuck if the Alabama fan. Going to LSU Alabama game, and so we'll get our high and low there, depending on what happens. And then church Sunday morning, and then Monday, Tuesday, and Tuesday night, I may tune back in. I may not do, Brandon. I'm serious. I may not tune in till late.
I wish I'd early voted. I meant to, but it just didn't work out. But I'm going on Tuesday.
You're gonna go because I'm gonna be on.
Yeah, but man, I love
Tuesday.
early voting. I just like it a whole lot more.
Actually, the early voting didn't have a big long wait, but you had people in front of you. I've early voted before where you walk right in, say hi, and I'm the only one in the polling place.
The thing for me, well, it depends on where you look at it. I'll say this: the polling place that I have on election day is I like better than the early voting place, but I like to early vote more. So.
Yeah. Well, the presidential election is when you had to really wait on a long, and the governor's race, which next governor's race is a 30 million plus race. Jim and Alexander, how you doing, Jim?
Hey, Moon. Have you ever been to an LSU game that they've won?
Yeah, I've been to a lot of LSU games they won. Matter of fact, most LSU games I went to, they won.
Oh, then you're allowed to go. I mean, I'm a big believer in. I'm superstitious when the Saints play, and I'm wearing a Saints jersey, and they're not winning. I'll take it off and put on another shirt or move around.
I don't have no I have no superstitions whatsoever in my life, and I never have in my whole life. Said if I do this, then this is going to make that happen. Never. Now people are like that, and you are, and that's fine. I could never do that ever. Go okay. If I rub my truck,
chair in the house.
Huh?
I went from one chair in the house to the next chair.
Oh my God!
I watched the state game. Now wait a minute. I have went to the one that has TV in our bedroom, and every time I go to that one, they start winning. So I'll sit there and watch the whole TV show in our bedroom.
Well,
I predict they're coming to our house. They are coming to our house. Yep. And Tiger Stadium is tough to beat. The Tigers are tough to beat.
Wow.
And I think we're gonna pull it out. And I do believe in the election there won't be a blue wave, but there will be a red tide.
Well, look, here's the best thing about that. And it's the thing I'm sick of, too, besides the politics. And I played something, like I said, Brad. Just finished telling Brad I don't like all that. But the good news is the game has to be played. It's never been won the day before it's played. It's never been won by the team that was favored the day before it was played. It's won on the field. And when the clock ticks down to the last second, we'll know. All right, got to run, Jim. God bless. Thanks for the call. I'm not a superstitious person in anything. I'm telling you, Brandon, I put my socks on and my shoes on sometimes. Sometimes it's my socks on, then my shoes. I don't get into none of that. Some people do, and I'm not down on you. I don't. All right, we got to take a break. Superstitious for what? Never controlled something in somebody's life ever. Welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. By the way, folks, you heard me brag about Stein. Let me tell you what Stein's doing. They're having a Black Friday appliance sale right now until November 14th. Right now. Everything for your home and yard. Everything. Better brands, lower prices. But they are having a gigantic appliance giveaway, Brandon. If you need some, you can register online at steinhome.com. $5,000 in appliances. You got to enter between the 30th, which was day before yesterday, and November 25th, and they're going to have a big drawing. But they're having a Black Friday sale that's gigantic right now. They've got appliances on sale. Just go to the website, check it out, enter an appliance deal. You're not going to believe the savings that they have on washers and dryers and all appliances that you need. There's also some savings on floors and power equipment. But I mean refrigerators, freezers, stoves. They got it all going on at Stein right now. And I mean, I'm talking about big sales. In one deal, you can save up to $1,000. Another one over $1,600 for a total set savings. $1,600 on a savings. Black Friday appliance sale goes through November 14th. Today is the 1st, and you need to get it and get it done. And I'll tell you what, if you go there, you're going to find everything you need. Stein has it all, one of those great Louisiana companies. There's good prices on barbecue pits, floor. Don't forget the drive-through lumber yard. They've got 7-piece dining sets on sale. Paint sales going on right now. Man, it's great weather right now, Brandon. It's not overly cold. You can get out there and do a lot of work. I know I just finished my yard, and the lawnmower I bought for Stein and the weed I bought for Stein, I put it in use the other day. And I tell you, I got my yard ready to go. I'm not one of these people that cut their grass in the winter. I ain't doing that. You enjoy yourself. Until that sucker says I got to cut it, I'm not cutting it. Mm-hmm. But, Brandon, when I went to Stein, I got my weed eater. I got my lawnmower. Big floors. I mean, they've got so many sales going on right now, I can't even tell you all. Steinhome.com, Steinhome.com. Did you want to say something, Mr. Comer?
Nope.
You eased up to the mic like somebody had told you some big news.
Nope, I'm good. Nope, no big news here.
Yeah. By the way, somebody sent me a sign. Republican Julie Stokes, Secretary of State, the qualified conservative. That ain't what she ought to put on a sign. It ought to be Republican Julie Stokes, Republicans for Bell Edwards. Somebody needs to find one of those signs and take one of those Republican for Bell Edwards signs and put it above Julie Stokes' sign. Republicans for Bell Edwards. Now we know who they are, and she's a big one. She is a big one. And she doesn't like conservatives. I wonder why she's the qualified conservative. I guess, Brandon, you're the qualified conservative if you beat up on conservatives. Somebody just sent me the sign, Republican Julie Stokes, Secretary, the qualified conservative. She beat up qualified conservatives is what she did. And she beat on them left and right. And it's a sin and a shame that you're able to run on something that you never accomplished. She's not a conservative. But I can't wait to see them signs again out, Republicans for Edwards, because she will have one. I'll tell you what, I'll bet you. I won't bet you, but I guarantee you, if Julie Stokes, and we get to the governor's race, she will endorse and support Bell Edwards. You know how I know that, Brandon? She gave money to Bell Edwards when he ran the first time. She supported Bell Edwards the first time. This is the lady trying to tell people, I'm the conservative. And she's not the conservative. She's not even close. But yet she's got signs out there, the qualified conservative. I wonder what the definition of qualified conservative is. It's like the definition of what is. By the way,
that's what I was thinking.
You thinking that when was that talking about guy we had called in talking about Anne in the Constitution, Mr. Ray?
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
I started to ask Ray if he knew what the definition of is, because we never even got that definition since Bill Clinton was in office. By the way, the winner of the Cane River Pecans today. Remember, if you register, you qualified every day. I go in, I try to pick out all the people that did it. Cindy Hensley, Shreveport. Cindy Hensley, Shreveport will be getting some Cane River Pecans. I think what they've been doing, if they did in the past, they've been sending like a mix of about 3 different pecans from Cane River Pecans. So what you're going to get is a little variety of pecans. And I think I know you're going to enjoy them. I've never had anybody that won that weren't so excited to get that and how great they were. And almost every one of them would text me back or email me back, should I say, and go, hey, this is what it is. By the way, Swift or Skiff or whatever his name is, Schiff, Adam Schiff. They're saying he's going to be the chair of the intelligence panel. How can somebody with no intelligence? By the way, Brady, you're laughing. But years ago, when who's the guy? Charles, I can't remember his last name now. God, how can it wasn't Charles Johnson? He was in Monroe. Somebody will let me know. He was in Monroe. Charles Jones. I think it was Charles Jones. God, it don't sound right either. But anyway, Charles Jones, that was him. Brandon, he had like 9 ethics violations against him. And during the Blanco administration, guess what he oversaw? What board he was head of? Ethics.
Oh, man.
And my deal was Blanco and them put him there because he had so many ethics violations. He knew more about ethics than anybody. Charles Jones, that's him. So when you put
Charles
Schiff,
D. Jones.
That's him. That's him. And liberal of a liberal. Schiff, I think he ended up going to jail, by the way, Brandon. I think he finally did a little time in the slammer.
27-month federal prison sentence.
There it is. That's ethics board chairman, Brandon, under Blanco. So Schiff is going to get the intelligence and then payback time. Maxine Waters ready for the gavel. Maxine Waters gets the gavel. Miss Nutted Up. Investors' fear about Waters are now being downplayed by some. They'll sign Banks might gain with Democrats in the House for months. Banks stopped watching warn Representative Maxine Waters. I'm telling you, man, a nut. And you let her get the gavel. And then, of course, Nancy Pelosi. But you can't tell some voters that. You can tell voters the truth all day long. And unfortunately, some voters, they don't understand, and you can't explain it to them. I know one right across the room right here. He's like talking to the wall. The difference is the wall understands more than he does.
I mean, I can explain it to you. I can't understand it for you, and I'm not trying to be ugly about that.
Yes, you are. That was against Sharon Hewitt. You know, there's some words. I didn't talk to Senator Hewitt since the session. And there's some people putting this in little bug in my ear, and I'm going to share it with you. Sharon Hewitt may look at the lieutenant governor's race. That would make it interesting for Billy Nungas. You know, we ain't heard from Billy in this program since probably, June, July, August, September, 4 months.
Since you got on him.
Yeah, no, just challenge him, and rightfully so. He needed to be challenged. But I wasn't ugly with him. I was just honest. And so we hadn't even heard from him in a while. I guess he's still out there. I know they're bragging they got $500 million. So I don't know. I ain't talked to Senator Hewitt. But I tell you what, it would make an interesting race because you remember Billy was the one that sucked up to the governor, took the pictures with him and wanted to run on this ticket. I guess he was talking about him and the governor. So we'll see. But just a little birdie. There's some people put that in my mind that she may be looking at that. I thought she was looking at being a governor. But apparently she's looking at lieutenant governor. All right. Quick break. Open Forum Friday, folks, tomorrow as we get a little closer to Election Day that I still say nobody knows what's taking place. All right. God bless. Have an awesome, awesome day. We'll see you tomorrow.